go time, everybody. So ignore the absolute disaster in the background. I don't want to talk about it. But the first round of Sock Madness socks just dropped. And I have not seen it yet. I started recording as soon as it dropped, and we're going to go look at it together. So the name of this sock is Quasar, Quasar, Quasar. Okay, and this is by Carolyn, Lisle, or Perry Dragon. Okay, let's look. Oh no. Okay, I think this is actually going to be a really quick knit, and I will pop this up on the screen so you can see it in real time. Not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting something crazy on the cuff, like with a ton of beading, but the entire front of the sock is beaded, it looks like. 2 beads and then a stitch, 2 beads and a stitch. Okay, interesting. Okay. I am going to print this out because I'm old and old people print things out. And just because, I don't know, I'm mentally, it's just easier when I can print stuff. And let's go pick the yarn I'm going to use. Let's look. What does the forum say? 320 yards for main color. That's quite a bit. Okay. Oh, no, they use 34 and 29 grams. All right, let's just go pick something that has 60 grams at least, and that matches these bronzy beads, because I think that's gonna, I also have these obnoxious gold beads, but I do like these better. I don't know. Let's go pick some yarn first, and then we'll decide. I did a little poking around trying to figure out what I wanted to do and trying to see like what other people have knit. And wow, one of these, and I will post a picture of this, it's incredible. It's like fire gradient, like it starts white and then it goes into like fire colors. And I'm like, okay, I kind of want to do the same exact thing. So I picked out a jet black base yarn because I hate myself. And the mods might hate me too, but it's the price I'm willing to pay here. This is 100% Cascade, I think. Just take my word for it. It's Cascade Heritage. And I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Let's see if there's any other finished. Project status finished. There's only 2. Oh, these are interesting. They're sea green with white. Yeah, so black main color. I have more of this. I have like a full skein. And then I'm thinking maybe, let me see if I can get this color gradient all the way in my hands. I can't. So like start like that and then move into, like the green might not work. And then this, and then I have like this one, and then move into a red. And then I do have a blue, which I don't know about, because fire does get blue, and then finish with a white. It's like burning hot. I don't know how any of that's going to go, but that's the tentative plans. I'm going to use these instead because this is like more of a contrast. It's shiny. So I don't know how this is going to work out, but I do know that I think it's pretty cool. Just looking at the projects that I can see, it's really interesting. It's going to get snagged on everything. I'm never going to wear these, but It's pretty cool. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. Okay, I'm gonna get started knitting, and I'll check back in when I have something to show. Okay. Hi everyone. I am officially done with work for the day, and I have this to show for it. So I started my sock, and I'm really thinking this is great. I don't know if this is in frame. I'm so sorry. I don't have you positioned where I can see. But I'm really excited. I just started the second color, and I'm not sure if you can see that. These two are the same, and then this one's a different color. So it's this on the bottom, and then this one, which you can really tell the difference on in real life, but I don't know how well that's showing up. Also, if you see like a massive bag of chips in this frame, like that's my dinner. Mr. Kraft is out for the night. I'm knitting these socks. I'm knitting the size large, 72 stitches, which is my preferred sock stitch count. And I've just made a bunch of little butterflies, bobbin butterflies, whatever you want to call it, to keep my yarn at least somewhat managed so it's not getting super tangled. I think that this would actually be a really lovely pattern to knit, not on a deadline and not with beads, because I am using a 0.6 millimeter crochet hook, and that's how I'm beading. I know people do it with super floss. I don't understand how they're able to do that, because I have these, which are stiffer than super floss, and I break these all the time when I'm beading. So they're like threaders. So I don't know how they're doing that, and good for them for getting it to work for them, but I can't. So I use a crochet hook, and it is a pain in the butt. I just finished row 22, and I'm getting ready to move on to row 23. My first needle, the sole stitches are first. They're just plain knit across now that I'm done with my increasing. And then the end step is where this fancy pattern is. I really hope you guys can see that. I am going to take a break though, because my hand, like my wrist, is starting to cramp. So I'm going to take a break and maybe plant some seeds, because I've got a whole seed starting situation for my garden over there. So maybe I'll take you along for while I do that. And then I just got a text message from Mr. Kraft while filming this, and he's coming home and he wants to eat. So I guess I'll have a real dinner too, which pleasant surprise. Yeah, I think that's all. I'll check back in soon. So this is what it's looking like. I do have all of the ends still attached because I just don't feel like messing with them right now, but this is what it's looking like, or it looks like. I did the pattern minimum. So this is 72 stitches, but I have 11 rays as per the pattern minimum. I really like this sock. I finished this around, I don't know, 8 or 9 p.m. last night. I cast on, well, I pre-strung, where is it? I pre-strung 400 beads, so 200 on one and 200 on another, which is somewhere missing. So this is what I have from my first 200, and then my second 200, and that took me forever. I'm gonna need more beads. I've run out of beads. So I have some that are similar but not the same that I'm gonna use, and we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it. But this should get me through the gusset, which is what I'm working on now. So I'm increasing for the gusset, and that's my goal for today. So it's Sunday, March something. I don't even know. The 10th, maybe? I'm all over the place. Sunday, March 8th, and this is where I'm at. I have a very, very busy week coming up and an even busier weekend. So I really have to get as much as humanly possible done today so that I can finish up on Monday or Tuesday of next week. I just realized my shirt is completely see-through. Sorry about that. I am wearing a bra, but yes. So I am loving the gradient that I've chosen. I did choose 5 like gradient colors and then a white. So that's my gradient. So it's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 1 for 11 total rays. And yeah, I really enjoy this sock. I was really dreading it, to be perfectly honest, because I don't love beading. And honestly, I would really enjoy knitting this if I didn't have to bead it. It would be so much quicker, probably twice as quick, because it's not a hard sock at all. But unfortunately, this is just kind of how it goes. And this is not in the correct spot, but you know what, whatever. I just think that gradient is really, really pretty. How I figured, okay, so I'm using super floss to bead, and I'm doing that because my crochet hook broke. My 0.5 millimeter crochet hook that I've used for years and years to bead with just snapped. I don't know. I like dropped it weird or whatever onto my desk and it just shattered. So someone in my group O, Team O, said, "Hey, try super floss," to someone else. They were just saying they didn't have a crochet hook to bead with, and they said, "Try super floss." Super floss is something I keep in my house always because I have a permanent retainer from having braces. So it's something that I use to floss because if I don't, then I can't floss my bottom teeth because of the permanent retainer. So that was a lifesaver, and definitely thank you to my team members because I probably would have just like given up. No, I would have just bought a new crochet hook, but still, this is so much easier than using a crochet hook. I used to struggle so much with a crochet hook, so hopefully this sock will go quicker. I am working on the gusset. That's what I'm going to do right now. I've got about 2 hours before I have to do something today, and the goal would be to get through this gusset, but I feel like it takes forever. These beads, I think it probably took me 20 or 22 hours to knit the first sock. I'm hoping for a quicker sock on this one, but we'll see. Last time I checked, which was this morning, 2 people on my team have already finished. I do think if I keep up the pace that I will get a spot, but you just never know. So gotta go knit. So I didn't do a great job of keeping you updated, did I? But let's talk about them anyway. These are the Quasar socks by Carolyn Lisle, I believe, also known as Perry Dragon on Ravelry and maybe Instagram. And I'll put all of that in the description. So they are finished. I ended up knitting the size 72 stitches, which was the largest size listed in the pattern. And that's just because I wanted them to fit me. Let's take this one off so I can show it to you properly. I, for my main color, used Cascade Heritage in the black colorway. Okay. And here is the heel and the back of the leg. Okay, so the main color and all of my ends are still just chilling inside the sock. And I will get to them eventually. Okay, main color, Cascade Heritage in the color black. This color down here, this red, that is knitted wit in the color Flaming Locks of Auburn Hair, I believe. This is definitely just unidentified. No clue what that is whatsoever. But it had a beautiful variation to it. So actually, I do know what that is. It's Balrog from Boss Kitty. Okay, Balrog. And then this is Bad Beaver from Magpie. Oh, can we focus? This is Call Me Ale from Spun Right Round. Moving to this, I don't know, unidentified. And then this is Sweet Georgia Birch. The beads are Mizuki Toho 80 seed beads in the color Galvanized Bronze. So that's what this is. Let's talk about the construction. So it's toe up, which if you've been here long enough, you know that is not my preferred construction, but I can do it. You cast on just as you would for any normal toe up sock. You do a couple increases and then you start the foot chart, which also has all of the increases in that. You're beading the entire instep. So it's 2 beads every time you bead. Not my favorite ever, but I thought the pattern was very intuitive. You knew what was coming. There was a repetition to it. So like you knew when you were supposed to bead and you didn't really have to look at the chart. At least I didn't have to look at the chart that often. What tripped me up actually was here. So this very last like cable out. I always wanted to make it like I do the rest of the cable. So you like continue that red or continue that contrasting color out. And I had to really force myself to knit it in the main color in that black yarn. Other than that, I didn't really have any issues with it except for the cast off because I'm not super skilled and I'm not very well versed, I guess, in knitting toe up. I did make my first cast off just way too tight. It does not fit on my leg, which I'll go back and I'll fix it eventually, but I'm sick and tired of looking at these socks right now. Let's just talk about this though. Well, wait, no, I'm getting super distracted. Okay. So you knit the entire toe chart And then you can repeat as many times as you need to get your foot as long as you need. We've talked about it. My feet are small. So I did the very minimum requirement, and then I started my gusset chart. So the gusset keeps in pattern, but you're increasing stitches. And that ends 1, 2, 3, 4. That ends right here. So after you finish your gusset chart, you just work your back stitches and you make like half of a German short row heel. So you do your short rows back and forth, and then you take all of the gusset stitches that you've increased and start to incorporate that into the heel turn. So you work this heel, like this back of leg chart, and then every time you get to the end of it, you decrease, like you knit 2 together, or it would be purl 2 together or slip knit one of the gusset stitches with the back of the leg chart. And then once you've decreased all of the gusset stitches, you go back into the round and you knit the exact same thing, just without beads on the back. And let me say, this was a very enjoyable pattern had there not been any beads. And maybe I'm just a bead hater, but I think this looks so nice. So this is giving, I was going for a fire gradient, and I think I've fallen somewhere in between that and mariachi outfit. So I don't dislike that. Like, I'm actually quite happy with it. And I would knit these again. Like, I would knit this pattern again without the beads. I think this would be like the cutest little shorty sock ever. The one thing I will say is I don't think that this is avoidable. I saw this on everyone's sock. There's like a little hole here, which I'll go back and I'll stitch up. I just think it's like the nature of the pattern and how you do your gussets, and gusset decreases and everything, and then you go back into the round and there's just a elongated stitch because you slipped it. I don't think that that's avoidable, and it's an easy fix, but it's something to note. If you're interested in this sock, I highly recommend that you knit it. This is another sock that I'm pleasantly surprised by in Sock Madness this year. I really think that this is a lovely sock. Once I get past I just spent every day, or like all of my waking time for 5 days knitting these, I think that I will really grow to enjoy them, especially once I fix the cast off on this sock. I will try and get some B-roll, but it'll just be of this one sock because this does fit me just fine. What would I rate the pattern? I'm going to rate this pattern a 4.5. I personally just like charted patterns. Like, that is what I enjoy. But this pattern comes with charted instructions and written instructions. Now, I would never use the written instructions, and I made the PDF very big, but it's there in case somebody wants it, and I love the accessibility that this gives people. My execution of this, I knit them very quickly. It's not really giving fire. I would also give these like a 4, maybe a 3 and 3.75. I will happily wear them. Maybe less happily wear them with the beads, but I can always take needle nose pliers and like crush the beads off. But there are like 970 something, I think. Is that right math? No, 950. 950 beads in these. And I don't know if I want to crush 950 beads off of them. But either way, I'm happy to have them. I'm happy to be moving on to round 2 in Sock Madness. And if I have not mentioned this already, I am on Team O. So if you need a cheer to, if you want to cheer for a team, please cheer for Team O. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you have any questions about these socks, or if you are knitting these and you're having a hard time with the pattern, please just hit me up and I'm happy to talk through it with you or give you any advice that I may have. I feel like these are pretty straight. Like, I didn't have any issues with it. I didn't have any questions. I thought that the pattern was well laid out and it wasn't very confusing. Sometimes in Sock Madness, the patterns are like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. These, very straightforward. But if you are, a little hesitant, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I will respond as soon as possible. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for looking at my socks, and I hope to see you again. Bye.